Psalm chapter 95. We defined what worship is. We looked at some characteristics of worship. And one important thing that we got to understand about worship is in verse 8, where it says in Psalm chapter 95 verse 8, "Harden not your heart as in the day, as in the provocation, and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways, and to whom I swear in my wrath, that they should not enter into my rest." Bwana asifiwe sana. Now worship, we said, is loving God. It is an attitude of the heart in response to all that God has done in his works, to all that God is in his being, and to all that he has said in his word. That is what we can define as worship. When I'm responding, there's a response. I'm giving a corresponding action for what the Lord has done in his work of creation, for what the Lord is in his being, and for what the Lord has said about himself in his word. When I give a corresponding action, because we said in the other verses that worship has this characteristic. Worship is characterized by posture. If you don't embrace the right posture when it comes to worship, it may not really be worship, because he says in verse 6, "Oh, come, let us worship, let us bow down, let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture." Why do we kneel down? Because he is our God. Why do we bow down? Because he is our God, and we are the sheep of his pasture. Bwana asifiwe sana. So you need to understand who God is first. You need to look at the things that God has done for you, has done for the humankind, the things that you see around, and science cannot explain. No wisdom can be able to explain the things that we see. Now, you will have every reason to adapt the right posture just to express worship. And one thing you need to know is that worship is an attitude of the heart. It is not something that we do to be seen by people. Bwana asifiwe sana. Worship must come from the heart. When worship comes from the heart of man, you don't look at what people are saying about what you are doing. It does not even matter to you. Just like David in the Bible, we looked at David, an example of a worshiper in the Bible who embraced the right posture. He didn't look at his kingly regalia, his kingly garment when it fell. That was not his concern. He danced before the Lord, and when the wife mocked him for what he was doing, he actually attributes everything to God. He says, "I am doing it to God who took the kingdom from your father and put it on me. So who am I? What I'm supposed to do is always to rank myself under." Bwana asifiwe sana. A worshiper would always rank themselves under. Hakuna mtu amezidi Mungu katika maisha yetu haya. Sasa wakati tunapokuja kwa kuabudu, lazima tuchukue sehemu yetu. Sehemu yetu ni kuwa chini. Amen. Amen. Ndio maana Yohana Mbatizaji anasema katika John chapter 3 verse 30, how I pray that I may decrease, that you may increase. Bwana asifiwe sana. Nipungue ili wewe uongezeke. Sasa worship ni kupungua. Ambia mtu kuabudu ni kupungua. Bwana asifiwe sana. When it comes to worshiping the Lord, it is about decreasing, taking your place, which is always that low place. And the Lord will bless you when you embrace the right posture when it comes to worship. One important thing that we were looking at is the condition of the heart. It is very important to have the right condition, the right heart condition. Many people don't worship God in the right way because the condition of their heart is not okay. If I am to worship God properly, it takes the right heart condition. Heart is key when it comes to worshiping the Lord. That's why he says in Psalm chapter 95 and verse 8, harden not your heart as in the day of provocation. When you harden your heart, it cannot accept the things of God. A hard heart will never understand the things of God. This is why he refers us to what happened in the wilderness during the Exodus time. When Israel was moving from Egypt to their land Canaan, they hardened their heart. They did not receive the things of God with meekness. A hardened heart does not accept godly instruction. You tell them to lift their hands, they will still put them down because they have hard hearts. Bwana asifiwe sana. And I took you through some characteristics of a hard heart. If you want to know that people have got a hard heart, there are some things that you'll observe in them. Number one, selfishness. Like Judas in the Bible, who says in John chapter 12, when this woman came to worship the Lord without expensive perfume, Judas says, why all this waste? We would have sold it and have money so that we help the poor with the same money. The Bible says he did not say that because he loves the poor so much, but because he used to steal from the treasury. Bwana asifiwe sana. So what was the problem of Judas? When this other woman is worshiping, when the woman is worshiping the Lord, Judas feels offended because Judas wanted everything for himself. Tuuze ili tuweke kwa mkoba, tusaidie nayo maskini. Na kumbe yeye ndiye maskini. Bwana asifiwe sana. Sasa Judas ni mtu mwenye mfano wa moyo mgumu, kwa sababu kuna tabia ya ubinafsi. Watu wengi ambao hawaabudu Mungu vizuri ni kwa sababu ya tabia ya ubinafsi. Selfishness is a heart condition, and you need to do away with it. The other thing about the characteristics of a hard heart is pride. Another characteristic is pride. Another one is bitterness, and so on and so forth. Sometimes we cannot worship the Lord because we are bitter in our spirit. Someone offended you, and you've refused to forgive that person. Now, how are you going to worship the Lord in that kind of a heart condition? Bwana asifiwe sana. The Lord does not accept such a heart. He says in Isaiah 57 and verse 15, a broken and a contrite spirit, I the Lord will not despise it. I am together with the lowly in spirit. Bwana asifiwe sana. The lowly, the people who are ready to forgive others, those are the lowly in the spirit. Bwana asifiwe sana. Wanyenyekevu wa moyo ni watu ambao wako tayari kusamehea mtu. Amen. Na ukitaka kujua umesamehe mtu, ni wakati unafika mahali unaweza ukaongelea jambo hilo bila hard feelings. Amen. Lakini kama unaweza ongea na ulie, ujue bado hujasamehe huyo mtu. Yaani huyo mtu alinifanyia kitu sitasahau. Na unamwona mtu ile hasira vile imemshukia, lakini nilimsamehe tu, na huku yualia, ujue hajamsamehe. Bwana asifiwe sana. You need to cultivate the right heart condition so as to worship